Senator Lindsey Graham just died mysteriously last night. And I say mysteriously because he didn't seem to be in poor health at all. Lindsey Graham is live on TV for hours a day. He was just in Ukraine. That is a very long trip to take. He was in Ukraine doing meetings, high-level meetings with Zelensky and traveling around the country. Not the kind of thing that Joe Biden could even do, right? Not the kind of thing that Mitch McConnell could ever do. Lindsey Graham was live on camera. He did hours worth of press conferences just yesterday. He was booked for Meet the Press this morning. So what happened there? Obviously, Lindsey Graham has a lot of enemies. He's somebody who is a neocon. He somebody who certainly was about American empire and might, and he was threatening the Iranian regimes, threatening the Russians, and threatening, frankly, the establishment of the Senate because he loved Donald Trump so much. I know that they ran against each other in 2016, but there's no doubt, and everybody in the administration says this, that Lindsey Graham was the closest senator to Donald Trump. They golfed practically every single weekend. And Donald Trump just blew the doors off of the mystery around Lindsey Graham's death by going live on TV in a show that Lindsey Graham was booked for. He called in, the president did, and just announced something that has stunned the world about the SAVE Act. This is really remarkable. Just a quick note, and then this is happening at time of recording. This was just announced. FBI is assisting in a probe of Lindsey Graham's mysterious death after a Ukrainian trip and chilling Iran murder plot. Again, Iran was pretty public about putting a target on Lindsey Graham's face. They literally put a target on his head and then put it up on a big poster board and walked it around. And so I don't know what to make of this. His family says a brief and sudden illness. Well, that's strange. Again, because just days ago, hours ago, Lindsey Graham was doing press conferences for 120 straight minutes, traveling around the world, seemed to be in really good shape. And Donald Trump is here saying that the SAVE Act was in really good shape and that Lindsey Graham was supposed to meet with him today to talk about how they were going to pass the SAVE Act. Trump just announced that Lindsey Graham told him we were all set for the Save America Act and that he would be the vote that got it over the finish line. What? Listen to this.
President Trump, thank you for joining us, and my condolences to you.
Well, thank you. He's a tough one to lose. He was great. He was unique in every way, actually.
He was, Mr. President, and I know that we are all just absorbing this news. We are all in shock. Can you tell us, Mr. President, how you received this news and your immediate gut reaction when you heard it?
So what makes it even stranger is that I got a call last night sometime at, the early evening, maybe in the 7s. And he called and he said, we're all set for the Save America Act. He was pushing the Save America Act like crazy. He got back, said he just landed from Ukraine. I said, that's a long trip to make. He said, he sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. I had a right to be. And he was a worker. He was really a worker. But he sounded great, actually. But he actually said he was tired. But he wanted to pass the Save America Act. And I said, well, we're going to get it done, Lindsey. We're going to get it done. I'll see you soon. We thought maybe we might even meet today. And then that was it. And that was, very around the time. It couldn't have been much longer. It could have been his last call. I don't know exactly. But I got a message about 1 o'clock in the morning from one of the people at his office that he had passed away. I said, I just can't believe it. He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually. It's amazing.
Mr. President.
He was such an advocate. He was, if he wanted to get something, and he had a unique ability. He was able to deal with Democrats and Republicans. If I had a problem, a real problem, I wouldn't often ask. But if I had a problem with a Democrat, he could work it out. He was a great politician, actually.
Okay, well, what did we learn from this? That Donald Trump was probably the last person to speak to Lindsey Graham. And by the way, also, nobody has really spoken to Mitch McConnell. We can catalog Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden, for instance, their decline. And both of those men are 15 years older than Lindsey Graham. Chuck Grassley, he's serving in the Senate right now. He's 2 decades older than Lindsey Graham. And we can catalog their decline. Those guys can barely move. They can't speak. They've disappeared mysteriously for days, weeks, and months on end. This is totally different. Nobody's having 20-minute phone conversations with Mitch McConnell. That's a lie. I'm calling that out. That's a lie. But Lindsey Graham was on the phone with Trump in the hour that he died. I'm sorry. What? They were making plans to pass the Save America Act? Today they were going to make those plans? What would that look like? That would look like getting rid of, you'd have to get rid of the filibuster or attach it to a must-pass bill. You have to pass it through reconciliation. There's a lot of different ways you could do that. And then right after calling President Trump, this happens.
In response, Federal 77 response, Chesapeake, South Capitol Street, Southeast. In response, Federal 77 response, Chesapeake, South Capitol Street, Southeast. ALS response, medical local, Intercept 7 response for Chesapeake, South Capitol Street, Southeast.
So you can hear the EMT 911 call. This is picked up by a traffic scanner. This is a 911 call to Lindsey Graham's house, saying that they couldn't get anybody to answer the door. They had to force entry. Inside, they began to administer CPR. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Right after talking with Trump? After brief and sudden illness, some people are saying it's cardiac arrest. What's a brief and sudden illness? He didn't seem ill. If he was ill, why would they let him travel to Ukraine? This doesn't make any sense. Apparently, they couldn't get into his house, so he was alone. And then what? He just passed out? Again, according to the audio, 25 minutes later, emergency personnel said CPR was in progress. 25 minutes later, I mean, he's already gone. If you have a heart attack and you lay there for 25 minutes, you're finished. So a lot of people are asking, well, wait a second. It just seems like this is a crazy thing for a guy that was, here he is in Ukraine. Again, look at him. He does look like a 70-year-old dude. He doesn't look like is he in a wheelchair? You know, half the Senate can barely walk. Is he in a wheelchair? No. He's like traveling all around Ukraine. He's holding, this has got to be a pretty heavy munition right here, this drone. Here he is yesterday holding up that drone. I mean, he looks a little more healthy. You've seen Lindsey Graham before. He looks a little more healthy than I've seen him in recent, quite frankly. And you got to be, you think Joe Biden or Mitch McConnell could hold up some heavy munition like this? No, don't think so. So it does like really beg the question, like, what exactly is going on? Again, we've covered how various members of Putin's inner circle have called for his death, how Iranian TV congratulated the Iranian people on the death of Senator Lindsey Graham, saying that he's been sent to hell. Okay, thank you. And Lindsey Graham was booked to appear on Meet the Press in the morning. I can assure you that Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden were not booked on Meet the Press in the morning. It would be his 64th appearance on the broadcast. That is crazy. Again, here's Lindsey Graham yesterday. This was posted yesterday. And then he holds hours worth of press conferences after this. He was about to pass the Save America Act. And now the Save America Act, well, you're missing at least 3 U.S. senators. Mitch McConnell's gone. Lindsey Graham just died. John Cornyn just lost. Bill Cassidy just lost. So they're probably not going to support what the president's doing. Same thing with Tillis, Murkowski, Collins. Was Lindsey Graham sort of the key to everything with getting the Save America Act passed? I mean, that's a fact. He's absolutely the key to President Trump getting his agenda passed. That's a matter of absolute fact. So everybody's saying, like, wait a second. This is wild that Donald Trump just said that we were going to pass the Save America Act together, and then Lindsey Graham dies right after that phone. It's the last phone call he has, and then he dies. Last conversation was about the Save America Act. President Trump announced that it was the last conversation with Lindsey Graham was to support the Save America Act.
Get going. Frankly, he was very, very militant having to do with that. But I was from the standpoint of 25,000 people dying every month. I didn't like that, and he was a very strong military person. So am I. But I think we used it a little bit differently. We probably had a little bit of a different attitude, but we got along on it. Essentially, we agreed. And essentially, we agreed on almost everything. Where he was really becoming strong was the Save America Act. That was
Here we go again.
really, and I think he was going to be there very, very strongly on the filibuster. He was against terminating the filibuster. And I think he was doing that because he said we have a budget coming up and we have debt ceiling coming up, and the Democrats will, they're deranged in many ways, and they're not going to be able to do it. So he was coming aboard, I think, for the filibuster, terminating the filibuster. But before we did that, he was a strong advocate for Save America, and that's what he called me about last time. I mean, I think of it. I spoke to him he had already landed. He was probably at his place. I don't know where he was, but I spoke to him, and then I got a call a few hours later saying, late in the evening at 2:00 in the morning, actually. But they found out about it, I think, about 8:00 about his problem. But
So Donald Trump there once again confirming that the last thing that Lindsey Graham said to him was, "We will pass the Save America Act together." That's what the phone call was. Just seems incredibly strange, suspicious timing, all of it. We look forward to, I guess, the full FBI investigation, since now the FBI is investigating Lindsey Graham's death. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Pass the Save America Act. Out of respect for Lindsey Graham.